there was a basket of currant buns. Rubbish. They killed the last wolf long before you were born. You can't stop thinking about food, can you? Try again. Remember that you're the narrator here. Long ago, and in another country, a baby was born in the big woods, the youngest of a poor woodcutter's many children. The family lived on the border, what's now the border between Russia and Latvia. Soldiers came. A pogrom. There's no evidence you don't know what you're talking about. It's not relevant. The baby's mother put her into the arms of her neighbour who was leaving. Save this one at least. They took a boat to Scotland. The baby grew up there. During the next war, she took a boat to New York. Red herrings, wild goose chases, you're inventing ancestors so you can blame them for the troubles you brought on yourself. Also, you've skipped a generation. It was the daughter of the baby in the wood who went to New York. In New York, the baby in the wood, the baby's daughter, the dates do work better that way, met a man, a nice Jewish boy with a Russian name. Ukrainian, you'll find. His brother fell off the paddle steamer leaving Odessa. You don't seem to care very much about the men in this story. The Scottish-Latvian woman and the Ukrainian-Russian man married in New York and had 2 American-Scottish-Latvian-Russian-Ukrainian children. They changed their name to something less Russian. The firstborn was their best boy, who became a doctor and married a nice Jewish girl and had nice Jewish children. 4 years later, they had the owl. They spoke Yiddish to each other when they didn't want the children to understand, but they made sure their sons spoke only English, ate American food, and wore American clothes, went to summer camp and played baseball and bought corsages for the dates they took to proms. Have you ever even seen a corsage? You're getting this from films, you have no idea. The Scottish-Latvian daughter of the baby in the wood was a difficult woman and a bad mother. Perhaps her mother had also been a difficult woman and bad mother. Perhaps they had their reasons under the circumstances for being difficult. Excuses, you mean? She was crazy, cuckoo, loony, wrong in the head, it runs in the female line, that kind of thing. Soon, the owl saw that his mother was not only a difficult woman and a bad mother, but the wicked witch of the West, and so he ran away, back over the sea to England, where he changed his name and ate pork and wrote a PhD in social science, tables and graphs for human behaviour, quantities, fact. He disliked England and the English, their lukewarm grey food and plumbing, the way they wouldn't say what they meant, but it was better than sharing a continent with the wicked witch. He met the Jumbly girl, who was from Yorkshire and not Jewish, and he married her and moved to Scotland. He didn't like Scotland either. Yes, he did. He liked the Scottish mountains, he just didn't like the Scots, the same way he liked Switzerland but not the Swiss, and later Japan but not the Japanese. The Jumbly girl was also writing a PhD, though hers was on medieval art, not one table or graph. She came from Leeds in Yorkshire, in the north of England. In hard times, her people had lived on bread and margarine, gone barefoot. Nonsense, you've been reading too much George Orwell. Your great-grandfather worked in a tannery. Of course no one was barefoot. And they probably chose bread and margarine. They liked awful food. You're just claiming working-class credentials by proxy, as if their hard work excuses your privilege. They were small business people, enterprising. Some of them left for Australia. Rickets and stunted growth for those who stayed, stunted education, but still as a teenager your grandfather cycled to Hull and persuaded a trawler to take him on. He didn't want to be a fisherman, he wanted to travel. He saw the coast of Iceland before seasickness got the better of him and he gave up and went home. That doesn't sound very likely. Why do you need all these travelling forebears? Can't you just admit that you're pathologically restless, can't settle, keep a bag half-packed and a line of sight on the door? Not very nice for your children growing up like that. It's your problem, a difficult woman problem, nothing to do with your grandparents. You had the story about Iceland from your grandfather's own lips, so if eyewitness testimony is truth, even when written down 40 years later by someone who was a child at the time and already given to storytelling, it's gospel. Gospels being, of course, also eyewitness testimony written down decades later by people given to storytelling. The rickets and stunting were...